I accept that what the court says brings finality to the election dispute. We shall not be asking for a review of the verdict, so we can all move on in the interest of our nation.
It was for Ghana 70 VGH. We are not bored and easy. It was for Addo. As I say yesterday, no. Papa no. On Bibia, yes, because sometimes when you actually sit to analyze Akufo-Addo presidency, some of the decisions he took, they say, Obia, Oko Naso appointee special prosecutor, no. Now appointee Obia NDC ni, yen pete se NDC ni, Martina Midu no or betray no. And you will feel say also appointee second person no. Oba appointee bia Obia ebe bias. I mean bias towards MPP where so nipa Obia be favor MPP. That notwithstanding no. Still like appointee Obia on him say that nipa no on pay MPP asem. President Bia at least until now, that will take such a step. Say Obia to me share nekoso. Say even Chief Justice Uko Supreme Court on unko antimity na case so. Because Uko Supreme Court on my year paneling. Say the case bar nipa miensa and I say 5. And I say 7, and I say 9. Hey. And I say 9. Never in a case, no so. But still, because a president felt say, on any intimate jumantino, why then? Why nobody may be a palm no free? Yet Akufo-Addo came, worked with a CJ that was under Mahama, and then appointed people whom he knew did not actually even have the same ideology as him. Akufo-Addo buy on him pass Alan, any contender. Alan Giri gave me a tough time. In fact, Ebra 2007 now my year internal primaries, they were not being fair to Akufo-Addo because of Alan. But Akufo-Addo still appointed Alan as a minister of trade. And for 7 years, until Alan himself decided to resign. Papa no, I said yesterday no. Say now see any politics, ni understanding of politics. Idea is worth emulating. Abrafunuka say worth emulating. I say yes, she and therefore. To be frank, I can end this in 4 ways. Can we any be anka by now? I say Akufo-Addo leadership style no. They should be thinking about how to inculcate it in our curriculum. You say, Obia political science or university, no. So steady share, say na papa no, at me, a governor mine with those kind of appointments that some of them were not very popular with the grassroots, the party base. Yet still, he went ahead because he had Ghana in mind. Same person came and then the right to information bill was passed into law. A bill that for over 20 years, no president wanted to put it in place because the moment to put that bill into place, I say, media forum, they will be empowered to look for news and always be discovering if you do something bad. In fact, under Akufo-Addo media for use RTI power. But every step of the way, Akufo-Addo was, on the side of the media. Even though the media was critiquing him, they were calling him all sort of names. Akufo-Addo again said that I would prefer a noisy media to a silent media. Who compare no to say amenu yekase no. Thank of all way there. Media no crazy, media no on side. But even social media anchor for some of them, money followers, yama. but they feel threatened by it to the extent that TikTokers, 2 women, say Addo Birago or something like that, and the other one have been incarcerated in prison for the past 1 month. But it's sad. I think it's just been 8 months. 8 months, just 8 months. But after Ghanaians have really missed Akufo-Addo. Yeah, me have missed Akufo-Addo. I know you have also missed Akufo-Addo. So leave a sweet message for Akufo-Addo in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one.
President of the Fourth Republic of our country. The Supreme Court of our nation has spoken. The result of the December 2012 presidential election has been confirmed as having been won by the candidate of the National Democratic Congress, President Mahama. As I said earlier, whilst I disagree with the court's decision, I accept it. I accept that what the court says brings finality to the election dispute. We shall not be asking for a review of the verdict so we can all move on in the interest of our nation. Everything in my bones, in my upbringing, and in what I have done with...
I feel very distressed by it. Yes.
Mm. In terms of the conclusion that was reached, where the matter has journeyed from, is the sadness as a result of the conclusion, or you have questions about the procedure that took place before that?
The sadness is about the whole process. My sadness is because as far as I'm concerned, it was a very unnecessary. We have been taken through a very unnecessary situation, and which, as far as I'm concerned, and that is my honest and candid view, this has so weakened the institution of the judiciary. It's not so much the individual. Who occupies the position. It is the institution. That is what I'm concerned about.
Mm. I mean, what informs the conclusion that it's an unnecessary process? I mean, we have heard even government spokesperson make the point that a petition was sent, a committee in line with the constitution was set up, they've looked into the matter and they've come to a conclusion. Which aspect of it, what specifically makes it unnecessary?
I think that, you see, there has always been something wrong with Article 146. And particularly with the procedure that it sets out, and especially as it regards the position of the Chief Justice. In the Addo case, I took the opportunity to reflect on that weakness that I noticed. And are these, and these are not so to me, they lack the gravity. They lack the gravity that would lead to a grave outcome, such as the removal of the head of.
That will suggest to me that this is it's a family, it's close knit. So why is the mistrust? If it is just a land matter which the chief sold and they felt they were not consulted or they should have participated in, which is leading to all this, why should it lead to so much mistrust that we are talking about 48,000 people moving away completely from the community?
Well, first of all, let me say the 48,000 you are getting are not from one community.
Mm.
The people, which I don't want to identify them by tribe, are mostly or predominantly farmers, and they want to locate to areas where they can have access to in a vast land to cultivate. So Gbenyiri is highly populated by this particular faction. If you go to Kalba, this particular faction, and the chiefs who are there were enslaved by the Bolawura. No, he's the head of the traditional area, and the chiefs are basically not from these factions where the other faction where the conflict has started. It's from the other side. I mean, all the chiefs in these communities are Gonjas because Bolawura, who is the traditional head of the Bola traditional area, have decided to enslave chiefs to able to take care of these people who are not Gonjas. Now, the land, the land that triggered all this thing has to do with a small parcel, a piece of land. It's not up to your full plot. We are told a private developer was trying to work on the land, and the chief of Gbenyiri, the son, moved to ask the gentleman to stop because that land was not part of what he wanted to do. And he made it known to him that he bought the land from the chief. And the other one that's already developed has been with them for some time. So that was where both sides lost their tempers and it led to the fight. It was stopped. They moved to the chief palace. The issue was addressed, but both sides were not all that. One side was not that interested with the results that came out. Now, the chief of Kalba was brought in to see how he could also do for them to handle the thing. But they say the posture of the chief of Kalba, who that at Gbenyiri, was something that made them very suspicious. So the two sides, one thing led to the other. 2 people were killed, 2 additional killed, 4, and the 5th person happened to be the son of Kalba chief. The Gbenyiri chief and his son and the family left unhurt. Nobody touched them.
Okay. Isaac Noya, thank you very much for this update.